welcome to the Growth House podcast. We have the two Airbnb real estate all-stars with me right now, Janet and Gabby. I just introduced you guys, but you want to introduce yourselves real quick?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so I'm Janet. I'm the oldest out of 3 siblings. And what don't we do? You know, we are young entrepreneurs who started in real estate 2016. So we are trying to dominate the real estate industry. You know, we have a portfolio of Section 8, single family, multifamily, and specifically Airbnb's. And on top of that, we flip, we get creative with how we buy our homes, and then we also own a coffee shop in downtown Phoenix.
You guys do it all.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love it. Is there anything else in your portfolio that you want to add?
No, well, we pretty much, our portfolio is just, you know, your regular investor. We have
you gotta introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Gabby. I'm the little one the youngest one from me and her. Pretty much our portfolio consists of like long-term tenants, so regular traditional leases. We have Section 8 tenants, and then we have our short-term, which are our Airbnb's.
Nice. So you guys have, I know you mentioned like a 7-figure business overall with your real estate portfolios. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Do you mind if I ask how old you guys are?
Yeah, of course. I'm 27.
27 and
I'm 32.
And 32. Yeah. That's amazing. I love, you know, when young entrepreneurs are out here, especially in real estate, where people think, you know, you have to be older to be in real estate. Was there any misconceptions that you had when you first got into real estate that you broke down and you're like, nah, that's not true?
Well, I was 20 when I joined real estate. Wow. So I was super young, and pretty much when I got in, there wasn't a lot of like young people, like 6 years ago. It was a lot of like older people, and I always thought you had to be like the older person.
Yeah.
And I always thought like, I always wanted to be an investor, but I always thought like if you were an investor, you had to be like an old white man with like a bunch of money. So I never really looked at it till like a couple years ago when we finally dived in and started doing it ourselves.
That's awesome. So before you even say anything, I kind of want to take a step back. And how did this all start? You started super young. I'm guessing Big Sister led. No. Okay. I won't even guess anymore. I want you guys to kind of just, how did this start? How did this real estate empire start?
All right. So it all started when I graduated super young from high school. I graduated like at 16. Okay. And I knew I always wanted to do something in real estate, but I never did it. So like I grew up in your traditional household where like you go to school, you get a good job, get your degree and the whole thing. So I wanted to be a doctor. And so like I went to school to be pre-med. And so I don't come from a rich family, so like I had to pay for my own school and stuff. And you know, when you're trying to get honors and trying to do all that stuff, like it's super tough paying for your own school. So I was like, let me do something that's gonna be something that I can do kind of like on a free time. That was a lie. And then at the same time help me pay for my school. So I jumped into real estate. And so like I was working full time, going to school full time, and I still got my license like in 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So then
this is all in high school?
No, like once I finished.
Okay, once you finished.
Yeah, but I was like 17-year-old and like at ASU. Yeah. So like it was pretty tough. So like once I got licensed, I really liked it like a lot. And I started telling Janet, she was working for corporate America at that time. And I was like, hey, do you want to go with me to these events? Because I'm like nervous, I'm scared, I'm like really shy. And she's like, yeah, okay. So she was doing my marketing. And so like, she was like going with me to clients because I'm like super young and I'm scared of like meeting random people at houses. She would go with me to my open houses and all that. And then I was like, hey, why don't you get licensed? And she was like, no. And then one day she came home and I was like, well, I paid for your school, so you're gonna get licensed. And she's like, okay. That's kind of where like,
that's how it started.
That's how it
Little
started.
sister led the way.
Yeah, seriously. So I would do her marketing. I had no idea nothing about real estate.
Yeah.
Like,
what were you doing in corporate America?
It's funny. I started in doing loan modifications and short sales with Bank of America, which I wish I knew what I know now back then. So that's what I would do for Bank of America and the nonprofits. Nonprofits.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. For the nonprofits, and then I transitioned. So that kind of died down, and then they moved me over to collections. So I would do collections with Bank of America, and I hated my job. I was miserable, but I was
good though.
I was such a hustler. I was always number one. I would make really, really good money. But my goal back then was to open a coffee shop. So I wanted to quit Bank of America to open a coffee shop. So I worked very hard to get money and save and stuff. It didn't work out. And then I get home one day and she's like, hey, come over. So I come over to my parents' house at that point, at that time. And she's like, hey, I signed you up for real estate schools. Class starts today at 1 p.m.
No way.
And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I don't want to be a realtor. She's like, well, it's paid for. And that's how it started. I went to school and I was juggling the real estate school and collections. And I finished in about 3 weeks as well.
Wow.
I was doing like 5 a.m. shifts and then going to real estate school after and get home like at midnight. But we got it done. And then that's how it started.
So taking a step back real quick, did you see any traction, any success at this point, or you just saw in the future like, wow, this is a vehicle that can make a lot of money?
So I didn't really see a future when I was in it.
Yeah.
So at first I was just like helping people out with like rentals and just like literally trying to get like some money.
Yeah.
Because like I was broke, like really broke. And like, I mean, you know, school, it takes up all your money and stuff. So then she sent me a lead from her work. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm going to call it. Oh, and she would make me cold call. Like she would make me like, did you come home? She would be like, did you do your 100 calls? And I was like, no, I did like 50. And she would like keep me. It was like a school assignment. But she was kind of like molding me in a way. So it worked. And I followed up with one of the leads that she sent me from her work. And they ended up buying a house. And then when we closed, I was like, it's a lot of money. I was like, I didn't know what to expect. But I was like, that's a lot of money. Like, and it was so fast in 30 days. Yeah. So then after that, I was like, I think we can build something from here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And that's when you were like, okay, I want to pay for her to go to real estate school.
And then I was like, you have to, like, we can make something out of this.
Yeah. And then coming from collections in corporate America, I was used to people talking shit to me. So I have thick skin when it comes to the phone and just in general, you know? So I'm like, okay, so the first thing I did when I graduated or got my real estate license was go on YouTube. And that's what I did. I would spend hours and hours on YouTube. So I learned how to cold call, how to get leads. There was this guy called Brian Casellas. I don't know if you know who he is.
I've heard of him.
Yeah. So
we would use your scripts to cold call people.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome. Self-educated.
Everything.
YouTube I love YouTube. I learned everything from there. So then once I got my license, my first day, I jumped on a phone call, basically doing what he said to do. And I got my first listing appointment on the first call. And I was like, dude, we got this. And then from there, we just killed it. You know, we got on the phone and we just get on the phones and just call. Our business in traditional real estate grew very rapidly. So the average realtor closes about 6 deals. So
it's like 3 to 4 a year.
3 to 4 deals. Yeah. Obviously, our first year we closed very few. I think we closed like 8, which was still good to be brand new.
Both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Second year we did 15. The next year we did 30, and then 2 years in a row we've done 50 clients a year, which is a lot, you know, for traditional real estate. All of our business is word of mouth. You know, building a business, you have to make sure that you learn how to build a brand, and it's not all about the money, you know. So that opened the doors to a lot of things, you know, financially. And that's kind of how our career in real estate started until 2020 came. You know, 2020 came, and that's when we're like, hey, well, actually 2017, we decided to flip homes.
So 2016 is when you started?
Yeah, 2016, 2017.
You're like, okay, let me try this. So you were now looking into investments. You're like, I want to be an investor now.
Right, but it was so different though.
So we would actually, it was kind of funny how we got into the investment. Because we would watch HGTV all the time. Yeah. Right, and you know, that fix and flip show, we were like, oh my gosh, that looks so easy, that looks so fun. I want to be a designer, it's so fun. So that's how we started. And we tried it, and it was not at all.
It was a total flop.
Tell me, I love to hear about your first experience.
So
yeah, that was the ugliest house on the block. Yeah, but like,
did you do that on purpose?
Well, we were supposed to flip it.
Yeah, we were.
But I was my own realtor at that point, so you can imagine. I was brand new to real estate. I think we barely had a year in real estate, you know. So red flag number 1, you have to work with people who actually know what the hell they're doing. So we found a house. We asked my dad for a $50,000 loan, and we
also didn't tell him what it was for.
Yeah, and then we.
Well, your dad was just like $50,000. You're my daughter, sure.
Kind of.
Well, we told him it was for an investment, but not what, and I didn't want to tell him.
And we're like, we'll pay
And
like
it
every penny back. And it was just like, okay. If we told him that we were going to flip a house at that time, he would never give it to us.
And he found out once we had got the house.
I'm just curious. What did he think you were doing with the $50,000?
I don't remember, to be honest.
I think
I'm pretty sure.
I'm really good at convincing my dad for like. So
you're the youngest. It makes sense.
Yeah, I was the youngest. So and the youngest. So I convinced him to lend us $50,000, and I was like, "Trust me, you'll be good. Like, I'll give you the money back."
We were talking about the coffee shop.
Oh, that's right.
So and then I've been in the process. I was already working with people. I was working with an architect. So they, hey, let me borrow $50,000, kind of like a loan. I'll pay it off. I'll pay you slowly. He's like, okay, perfect. So we didn't tell him what it was for. He found out, after we were in a hot mess. And when we got the house, we decided to partner up with another contractor. So he was going to do the work. I was going to partner up and design and everything. Worst mistake ever. We flipped the house like if I was going to live in it. So everything was super beautiful. My numbers were so wrong. It was a mess.
And mid-flip, Janet decided that like she wanted to like quit her job.
Yeah.
And so like
because you saw the projection where you're going, you're like, oh, I got this.
Yeah, because I didn't quit my job right off the bat. I quit my job when that was happening, because I was so stressed and I was like, I need to physically be here. This is wrong. And I'm like, okay, so I quit my job. I was miserable at work anyways, And first of all, before I go over everything, we're huge believers. Like, our faith is everything. Like, we're strong with faith in Christianity and all that. So we're like, I'm just gonna let it be. Baby Jesus got me, And we did it. So the project was a mess. We couldn't sell it at all, but
because it was a different market.
It was a different market. It was 2017, so it wasn't like multiple offers, hot market, blah blah blah. However, we did such a good job that the GC fell in love with it. So he actually bought it. So he saved us because we were able to save it, get our money back. Luckily, we got our money back. And that's how we basically our flipping career started. Wow. We got our money back. We paid that off and everything. And we're like, okay, then everything that could go wrong just happened. This is like horrible. It. We got to do it again, So
like I was the architect which I wasn't the architect, but like the architect we hired was like a hot mess. He was a drunk, and like we were way too in it to afford a new one. So I was just like, I guess I'm really good with numbers. I'll just do it. And I was at the city, like negotiating our like.
We would physically go to the city, talk about. I don't even know how we made that happen. I don't even know how we did that. But we had our permits approved with a contractor who was never there. The architect was never there. So basically, it was our flip. Us. It was the hardest and most stressful thing ever.
And we over-designed, like 100%. Like we spent so much money.
A lot of money. The numbers were wrong. I mean, it was just the worst.
So you ended up breaking even though because of the GC fell in love with.
Probably lost a couple grand. Like
we lost like $5,000, but it was like such a big save.
Like small fees here and there. I mean, this track took. Back in the days, we couldn't even track our numbers right, But as long as I got everything that my dad loaned me and everything, we're like, okay, we're good. So, but yeah, we sat down and we're like, well, nothing else can go wrong, And like I said, everything that could go wrong just happened there. We got hit by the city. We couldn't sell it. Our numbers were way off. Like everything was just bad. So we're like, let's just try it again. So we asked our dad for the money again.
We told him the truth this time.
Yeah. And he gave us a shot. And those $50,000 that we started with actually, multiplied it times a lot of money now, But it's just a matter of not being scared, because a lot of people were like, what the hell are you doing? If you lost, why would you do it again? I'm like, exactly, because I lost. And now I know I now know what not to do. So that's what we did. So, we didn't actually use all the money because at that point we had savings and everything. But we started flipping again and our numbers got better. Like right off the bat on the next one, we made like 40K.
Nice.
Which was good because we're really good at designing. We really are, So that helped us a lot. So we're like, okay, so we can design. We made a profit. We know how to borrow money, which is at that point we started using harder money loans. And that's how it started. And ever since then, we're just one at a time. And now we do multiple projects at a time,
Wow. So 2018 is the year after your first project that went kind of sideways.
Yeah.
So 2018, you guys, is that when you started really scaling with the residential side and as an agent?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So on 2018, we made, I think, 30 deals. Yeah. And then the 2019, we doubled it. And then, we've always been skating.
Yeah, so like 2018, we were like saving and like actually like building the real estate business. And then 2019 is when we started really going to ham into like flipping.
Yeah, okay. So I do have a question. I'm curious myself, like, you know, a lot of people have that lifestyle creep. They start making some more money, and all of a sudden they got that new car, they got new clothes, they, you know, their lifestyle starts going, you know, bigger and bigger and more expensive. Did you kind of do the same thing, or did you stay frugal? What was your path?
So one of the things that I'm really good at, so we're very different. You know, she has some assets that she brings to the table and I have mine. So one of the things that we did right from the beginning when we started our real estate career was like, hey, we need to make this a real business. We need to learn how to split our money. So right off the bat, as a real estate agent, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, let's say a 20K commission. 20,000 commissions, they take it all and they spend it all. Well, that's not how it should be. You know, you have taxes, you have operations, you have savings, and then we pay ourselves. So we always pay ourselves last. And that actually helped us because without even knowing, we're so focused working, and our accounts just kept like growing and growing. And we're good with money. You know, I'm not.
Yeah. I don't know. Like we stay frugal. In other words, because like there's times that like if I go to the mall, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I want to buy everything. I want to buy the new purse. I want to buy this and that. But then I'm just like, no. Like, no, I don't need it. It's just materialistic.
And then coming from the finance, like seeing people lose their homes and collections, people couldn't even pay their bills. And then myself, when I was younger, I fell really bad into debt. Like I have $30,000, $40,000 in debt. I will live paycheck to paycheck to paycheck. And I'm like, this is an opportunity to actually get out of the rat hole and rat hole is how you say it?
Rat race?
Rat race. Rat hole doesn't sound right. Out of the rat race and really like work hard for it. Yeah. So then it helped us, like flipping took us to like another level, you know? So then we were flipping 2018, 2019, 2020, we flipped it. We obviously kept flipping and we kind of got stuck. So we bought a flip and we couldn't sell it again. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is not gonna happen again. Our numbers were right. But we just couldn't sell it. You know, I had no idea what it was, to be honest. House was perfect. Every house around the block was selling even higher than ours. Virginia, our first Airbnb.
Did you keep everything in state?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything has been in state. We kind of like try to keep it like in state.
Yeah. Okay.
So we couldn't sell it. So what happened is, I'm like, hard money lending is very risky, and I'm like, we could lose this house, and we're paying way too much money. Let me talk to my lenders to see what we can do. So the lender's like, why don't you just refi out of it, and then hold it a little bit longer until you can sell it. And I'm like, well, that makes sense, you know. So then we talked to her, and we started the whole refinance process. It took like a year because my credit wasn't up there, and I still had some debt, and no, not debt. I'm sorry, taxes. As a self-employment, you know how that is. You know, you want to write off as many things as you can. But now I've never thought I was going to buy a house. So now I'm like, shit, now I need to buy a house. Now I need to file taxes in order to afford the house.
Right.
So it took me over a year, and we're just paying hard money. And we finally did it. And that's how we bought our first property by accident.
By accident, because you wanted to flip it.
Yeah.
But you're like, no one's buying, so I guess I'm keeping it.
Yeah.
It was so weird though, because it was such a good house, and I was like, why isn't it selling? Like it was weird. It was weird
because every house around us was selling.
Yeah.
The design was really great. People loved it, and yet we couldn't sell it.
There was an empty lot next door, and everybody was like, what if they build something that we don't want next door?
It's a residential area, so to me, every time I see a house or an opportunity next to an empty land, I see it as opportunity, but everybody else was like, no. I'm like, okay. Plus, the neighborhood was still gentrifying. It was in early stages. So we kept it. That house, we bought it at $260. And it's now worth like $600.
Wow.
Yeah. 2 years later, okay?
2 years later.
2 years later.
2020?
Yeah, 2020. Okay. So in just 2 years, it appreciated that much. So so we closed on that house. We're like, this is great. Let's turn it into an Airbnb. So we turned it into an Airbnb, and it's been great. So then we started right away with the other ones. And then once we started with one, it was just like nonstop. Like, let's do it again. So
it was crazy.
But
amazing. Yeah, that's why I don't go out crazy and spend all my money. Because like I see the opportunity that money can make you if you work for money.
Yeah.
Like if you make your money work for you.
Yeah. So in less than 2 years, we've been able to build a very healthy, wealthy real estate portfolio, and it's now in the 7 digits. The money that it makes is amazing. So when I look at stuff to like, hey, should I buy a car? Or should I really focus on the real estate instead? Because
and she's been tempted, but I'm always the one. She's the one that's always like, I need the Tesla. I need the new car. I need this.
I don't need it. I like it. I mean, you know,
for sure.
Janet, like business-wise, like that's gonna affect your DTI. So do you really want that? So like even the car that we got for like work, like I have a Beamer, she has a Mercedes, but I was like, the miles that we put on it is ridiculous. I'm like, why are you gonna get another car to fill it up with miles? So we got my favorite car, the Toyota RAV4.
Nice.
Love that car. And I was like, the dealer hated me because I had to put it under like the business. And when you do things under business, it's like 10 hours instead of like 1 hour. So, but I do everything based off ratios now. So if it's gonna impact my affordability, then I'm not gonna buy it, or I'm gonna find a way how to get it.
Right.
But like in the end, like I want things that pay for themselves. Like I don't want to pay for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just a matter of scaling. Like I think at this point, like talking to my CPA, my lender, I mean, we're already reaching that level where we can do that financial freedom that we want, but we still got to be frugal. Like you can never get comfortable. I mean, to me, we're still brand new. We're only 2 years in the business, you know, and our goals are massive. Like eventually want to start developing, you know, building houses from scratch, buy land, you know, and then flip at a different level, like 10 projects a month. Like we have the money to do that and everything. We're just taking it slow a little bit, you know? Yeah.
Well, it seems like there's been a lot of scale in the past, like you said, 2 years, and I'm curious, you know, you went from 1 Airbnb 2020 on accident, and then now you have 6, is that correct?
7 Airbnbs and 9 doors. We have so we started buying multifamilies too.
Okay.
We just got rid of one, we sold it. I don't know why we did that, but we sold it to cash out, you know? But yeah, it's amazing how fast we've grown in just 2 years. Like it's like, so a lot of the people were telling us, don't do it. We're in the middle of COVID. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. I am so glad we didn't stop, because it's like our biggest growth has happened where everybody else was panicking and holding back.
Man.
Yeah.
Seems like that's where it happens for most people.
Yeah. That's what really helped us scale, because everybody was like standing back kind of, and we were just like, well, let's just do it. Like,
now's the time.
Just do it.
And then you own all 7 of those properties. Is that going to be part of the little masterclass? Should I not ask about that?
No, yeah, absolutely.
I won't ask about that now because
no.
I want you guys to do a little teaching on how you're able to do that.
Okay.
I know for, you know, myself, you know, personally, I quit my W-2 job. And so now I'm like, okay, I don't have that, you know, nice sales salary and the commissions I was making. So my W-2 is gone.
Right.
How am I going to scale with the growth house? So I am very curious, you know, just for myself, how you guys were able to do it.
We are very good at that actually, and I have a great referral for you too, as lending wise.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But if she can close me, she's good.
Yeah, we have even she tells me, she's like, you have one of the hardest portfolio ever, you know, because we have so much movement here and there. And
because we have like flipping operations, and then the underwriters see all that, and then
we have a team, and then we have the Airbnbs. You know, there's just a lot going on with us.
So do you self-manage all the Airbnbs?
We do.
It's just 2 of you.
Yeah.
We don't clean them. You know?
Yeah, we don't clean them, but we
self-manage.
self-manage.
But it's not hard at all, really.
Yeah.
It's not hard. And we take turns. There's 2 of us. We're both very into our businesses. But like I said, I think this year is time to kind of scale up and kind of delegate more stuff, because we're getting really, really busy, you know. And I don't have any patience. I'm the person, I just want to grow. Like I just want to like move into it.
And then I'm more the cautious one. So it's like, okay, we can grow, but let me analyze everything.
So how does that work? How do you balance that out between, you know, you two, and also just, do you recommend working with family? Why does it work for you two? Kind of curious there.
I mean, I guess it works for us because we're so opposite, and at the end we love the same thing. Like it's weird. Like
we're complete opposite.
Yeah, like she does more of the like acquisitions and like talking to people and stuff like that, whereas I'm more of the back end, where I like systems, I like processes, I like numbers.
You're the integrator.
Yeah. I'm the integrator.
She sure is, because
yeah. So like it works. Like it works for us. Like, and it really depends when you work with family, because we know people that are just like, working with family is not a thing. Like it's not even an option. So it's just like treating it as a business all the time. Our fights are like normal, but like they're not crazy. But we treat each other like as business partners. And so
yeah, we don't see each other as sisters at all.
Yeah,
we're straight up business partners. And also, I think one of the most important things is to seeing how much we've grown and where we come from and how we struggled growing up. It's helped us a lot because we're like, can you believe we made?
And we both love to work, so I think that's what helps. It's like it would be different if she was lazy or I was lazy,
right?
And then like would be like, okay, well, you're not doing anything,
you
know. So it's like we're both have like an addiction to work, even though like we have it on different scales. Like you put me down like in front of a computer, like good luck getting me out of it. But then like I'm also the type of person that's like, okay, I'm out, one-way ticket to Mexico, and like I'll come back when I'm ready. But her, she's like, no, I can't leave. Like I have to be at work like 24/7.
I do. I have anxiety. Like I have issues disconnecting.
Yeah.
And she doesn't, you know. So we balance.
That's a hard thing to do, disconnecting.
I know.
It is. I can't
I'm
disconnect
really good at
shit.
it.
Like I'm sorry, oh my God. I mean, I can't disconnect at all. I have such a hard time. Last year she decided to book a damn trip to Mexico for 20 days.
And for both of you, or just?
It was for both and my family.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a very small family. First of all, it's just us two. We have another sister and mom and dad. That's it. And we're very close to our parents. Very, very close. So we decided to go on a family trip. Go all out, super out. Yeah. And I just couldn't. I had to get a flight back.
She had to come back like
day
9.
Yeah. Day 9, you're like, nope.
And I was like, she got
stressing me out.
I'm like, I can't believe you're having fun. Our business is over there now. So I just
it was amazing. Such an amazing trip. We deserved it. We worked our ass off like for 2 years in a row. So I was like, we need this. Like we can do this.
But
and then I don't think we've ever fought as much as we did on that trip because she was like, I need to go home. Like, I need to work.
It was really bad.
Was there fires that needed to be put out, or was just the kind of anxiety of
just anxiety? Yeah. And so like I could
can't.
work from my phone and I could work from like anywhere, and she can't. Like she needs her office. She needs
I
space.
have real anxiety. Like I cannot disconnect. That's a big issue.
So
it's not good to be like that, but at the same time,
you're ruining my trip. Go home.
You're like, just go back.
Yeah, and I did. I came back, but you know, we started traveling. Now, like in 2020, actually was our very first real vacation. Again, when everybody else was like, "Don't go," we're like, "Oh, we're going," you know. So we went to it was amazing. We've been traveling a lot, but again, it comes to seeing how we grew up to where we're at now. That kind of like pushes us all the way, and then we have the same goals in mind. Like our goals are so big, and we're both on the same page. I think that's why we work very well together.
That's awesome. Why don't you share some of those goals?
Well, the development is one of them, you know, getting into development and hopefully buying apartments this year, like 25 doors plus, you know, like
expanding internationally, like the developments, like into like my favorite parts of Mexico.
Okay.
So that we can make them into short term. And then eventually I want to build a hotel, but like that's like way in the future. I'd rather have like the what's it called? The multifamily going on first before we can like build that. And then she wants to we want to go into developments, so we also want to build houses and stuff like that, like communities on a bigger scale.
Yeah, we also did bring our dad into the flipping operations to that business. When he saw what we were doing, he was like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah.
So we started bringing him in, and then we also brought him in because we were having, so you probably know this, but real estate investing is a male-dominating industry. It's very, very male-dominating. So when we were getting bids and everything, I didn't realize how much people were like taking advantage of us. You know?
In what way?
So like in the
Like
and
prices.
let's say, just throwing some numbers, let's say something was like $4 a square foot, and then to us it would be like $7 a square foot, you know. And at that point, I didn't really know how to negotiate. I didn't really know much. They were just so nice,
and
it
was
was
just
like, okay.
me. Yeah, and so Janet was actually the one not talking to any of the subcontractors. It was just me. It was just like negotiating. So I had to go out and learn what everything was costing.
Yeah.
And I'd ask around like, hey, how much are you paying for that? But then like these men would get like so intimidated because I was like, I'm young, and like they're like, you can't really negotiate. This is my price. I'm like, no, it's not the price. Like that's not the price.
So we learned, you know, we started learning, and then we brought. One day I was having a conversation with Dad, and he was like, "You pay how much for this?" And then he was pretty upset about that. So it's like, well, can I join your team? We'll work together. So now he does all the negotiations, gets the whole GC project management.
Yeah. So we tell him what we want, we give him the list and we're like, here.
And it's been the best thing ever. We've been able to grow flipping like a lot more now that he's involved, because I don't have to physically be there. We don't have to talk to the workers. We don't have to do anything. We just design, give it to dad, and he'll take care of it. But yeah, it's a very male-dominating industry. So it was hard, but then when we noticed, we started learning numbers. We started asking around, asking questions, and that will never happen to us again, I can tell you, So, but yeah, it was somewhat tough because people never take us serious in the beginning, like, hey.
Well, now they got to take you serious. You guys are literally building an empire out here in Arizona. I guess, do you have any other pointers for, females in this industry and real estate and maybe just entrepreneurs in general? Like, what helped you, navigate, like you said, kind of a more male-dominated industry?
Honestly, just we've never saw ourselves as victims. We never do. That's something that, oh my gosh, it's because it's a woman, it's so hard. Like, we've never even mentioned that till now. It's like we're never that person that's gonna stand out because of something. Like they say, if they don't invite you, bring your own chair. And that's exactly what we do. And as a matter of fact, I don't need an invitation. I do my own thing, And that's kind of what helped us a lot, just staying in our own lane. Again, we don't like networking. We just started networking, recently. And it's amazing that people are intrigued by what we do. It's a beautiful thing, because I never saw it like that. As a matter of fact, we never saw how much we've came along till recently. When we sat down and we're like seriously, we had no idea how much we'd built. And then we sat down and we're like, oh my gosh, we have all these homes. This is how much money we make. This is what we've done. This is how much we've come in just 2 years. So never see yourself as a victim. Just if you really want something, trust me, you'll get it. Just trust me, Yeah. It's like, we just work. Like,
yeah, like I get asked a lot of questions, like, how do I begin? Like, how do I even get my license? Like, just do it. Like, we are self-educated, especially when it comes to like no one in our family has like a real estate empire, anything that we can, like, no one's even in real estate that we know, like, in our family. So it's like, you just Google stuff. You don't know something, like, everything that Google, you can YouTube. Possibly like find out is on the internet. So it's like, sit down, strategize your goals, and just like put your head down and do it.
I would say if you could ask questions, definitely have a mentor. Because if I could have done that before, it would have saved me a lot of time and money. But then again, I hate asking for questions, which is not the right thing to be or to do, But yeah, that's all I can tell people. If you really want something, educate yourself and go after it. And learn from your mistakes and not quit from your mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes or they fail and they're like, I'm done. This is not for me.
And it's still scary because, like, even when we get new properties, like, I still get that adrenaline, like, oh my gosh. Like, always, even though, like, now it's, like, way easier because, like, even if I get a property, like, I have exit options that, like, oh, I could keep it or I can sell it or I can, like, figure it out. Like,
whatever the case is.
Like, before it was just like, ooh, I'm putting all my life savings into here. If I like fuck up, like, I'm done. So it's like, but it still feels that way. So it's like, just do it. Like, you're not gonna gain anything if you don't risk anything. So
yeah. Like, people like always reach out to me like on Instagram. They're like, oh, hey, I love what you're doing. Wanted like to pick your brains. If how to, I want to be in real estate. What do I have to do? Well, like, go to real estate school. That's the first thing you should do. Then once you've done that, then come back to me and we can sit down. I'll mentor you. Do whatever you want. Never hear back from them. It's like people need to learn how to take action, honestly. And I'm not trying to mean it in a mean way, but it's like you see everybody just sees like the easy things that they think it's easier. They want to be a realtor because they like showing houses. And no, it's not just showing houses. Like, you're literally buying people's like home. There's a lot of money involved, a lot of emotions involved, negotiations. Like, it's a real job, And then from there you can take it to wherever you want, whatever level. Maybe you don't want to be a real estate agent. Maybe you want to invest. Well, educate yourself or ask, but don't be afraid to take that step and take action. I don't know. That's how we see it.
No, I love those answers. Those are so good. And anyone watching, like, before you slide to the DMs, make sure you, like you just said, are taking action.
Take action. I mean, if you want to be a realtor, go to real estate school. Right. Honestly, it doesn't matter what school you go to. Once you get that license is what matters, And I'm not pushing anybody away. By all means, I'm open to anybody. Sometimes it's hard because my schedule is so busy.
But she's not.
Well, I've always been that person.
But
like, I've made her cry before when she started. It's like, you need to get this shit done because we need to do this.
She bullied me. She molded
me. yeah, she was scared of me before, you know? And I'm not.
Made you tougher?
Like, I'm not lying when I said, like, she got home and she's like, did you do your calls? I'm like,
yeah, I mean, how many people did you call? Let me see your list. What number did you call? You know, and stuff like that. You just have to, and it's crazy because nobody never told me what to do. I just the way I am. Yeah. But
so where does this passion, where does this drive come from? Like, I know you mentioned, you know, upbringing, you guys struggled a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you want to kind of go back and kind of, is that where this drive comes from?
We struggled a whole lot, not a little bit. You want me to go into it or you want to go into it?
oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah, we've never talked to anybody about this. Like I said, we're just, you know, we're very private. But yeah, we struggled a lot. Like growing up, we moved a lot from apartment to apartment. We were very low income. It was just hard, and I saw it all. You know, you see it. You grew up in that type of, but we've always had our parents. You know, they've always helped us in everything. So to me, growing up struggling, as a matter of fact, my parents bought their first home when we moved here to Arizona. So they became first-time homeowners like 35 years after living in America. You know, so, and it's been the happiest thing. Like, it's such a great accomplishment for them. I love them so much. And it kind of pushed me like, okay, they're my why. So everybody has to have a why. They have to. To me, it's retiring my parents, you know? They're so hardworking, but that's the thing. They're hardworking, but they don't know how to scale. They're all about go to school, get educated, get a job, and then what? You know, it's like, my dad would have no idea that I would be where we are now, you know?
Right. And it's so funny though, because it's crazy because Jen and I, even though we're sisters, we grew up very differently. Like, even though we were in the same household, like, I had different opportunities than she did. So we grew up in California, but like Janet would go to school in like our desert, I don't know how she ended up in that school actually.
I went to high school in Compton, California, or Watts, California, Jordan High School.
I went to school in West LA in like one of the richest neighborhoods.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
different experiences growing up.
Yeah, so I grew up with like drugs and gangs and
then I grew up with privileged kids. So like I started seeing, like, I guess that was where my drive came from, because we at the end of the day would come home to the same household, and even though we struggled, like I would see opportunity and like what is out there, and I was like, I can always do that. Like I can do that. Like I can be something like. And I knew that it wasn't going to be at first I wanted to be a doctor because I was like, they make so much money. I'm going to be rich and I'm going to be happy. But no, after like going after that, I was like, even though now like I make close to what a doctor makes, I'm just like, I would not go that route because it's not bringing me happiness. So just knowing that like I can provide like growing something and actual wealth, it's just like unreal. And it's just like, that's my drive. And then just knowing that I could provide for my family and everything, it's just like, motivating.
And I grew up, like I said, in very rough neighborhoods. So I never knew I was even going to be an entrepreneur. Like it just happened. I never had that drive. I just wanted to have my own coffee shop, like something chill where I can meet people. Like I don't know. And then I started getting into real estate by accident because she made me, and it just changed that whole perspective, you know? So, you know, I don't know. It's crazy how life happens sometimes, you know?
I guess we've always had that like drive in us, but like until we started like going what we wanted for, that's when it really like.
And then I heard about Grant Cardone and he changed my life.
Yeah.
Shout out Uncle G.
Oh, Grant Cardone, yeah. So it's
I came home with it. I was like, Janet, you need to listen to this guy. He's freaking amazing.
That's
we
awesome.
got hooked.
And I think that's why I'm such like, I don't know. I hang out with other girls and we're so different because I have such a like masculine mindset, and everyone's like, oh, and I'm like, no, we gotta like hustle. We gotta do this. It's hard. I don't know. I'm just different. You know, it's very hard. But yeah, that's our journey. You know, we've struggled and we saw our parents struggle. Then we made it. We keep hustling, and the overall end is to just be financial freedom. We already have it. You know, when to be very honest with you, we made it to that point. So I'm very blessed. You know, we have a beautiful house in a great location. Our dream home. Well, not my dream home, but it's
dream first time home.
Yeah, I guess. You know, and I guess it's just a matter of being happy. You know, like real freedom. Like I want to be able to step away and travel without having that anxiety. Like learning how to scale at a different level, which that's what I'm working on right now, both of us. We're just bringing another operation as well. And besides fix and flipping, buying and holding traditional, we're also starting wholesaling very aggressively. So we know that's going to take off this year too. So
that's awesome, especially if you guys are getting on phones. I feel like that's like
the key. No, it's very good. We got our first deal first day, again. So it's like
congrats.
Just gonna keep on hustling until I don't know.
So are you guys looking to expand your team? Because I know probably people watching this like, oh my gosh, I want to get connected with you too. Obviously, you are agents. So if you're looking for a house, they can contact you to help you find, their
we're
dream
also
home.
growing. Like we're also going to start hiring for our real estate team.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're hiring for our real estate team. Scale. Yeah. And then, like I said, we're always open to help people in any other, if they're serious, they can always reach out to us, and we're like, it's not just serious. Like, I don't want to make it seem like that. I'm sorry, please cut that off. Because I don't want to seem like a bad person, But if anybody wants to reach out, I mean, we're always open to like helping others. Because when we started, and the times I did ask for help, I was always shut down. So it's like,
Plus, we're always giving back. I mean, we do our flip walkthroughs, so like we've done, I think 22 flips or over 20 flips in the past 2 years. So like now we're just like, everyone's always like, what do you want to do? Like, how do I flip? How do I flip? So we actually like have free flip walkthroughs where like people can just go and just like, literally there's your chance to pick our brain. Like legit, like you can ask anything. We tell them how we get our fundings, who our hard money lenders are, how we get the properties, what we look for in properties, and like what our exit strategies are. Yeah,
because at the end of the day, one of the things we do we have a mindset of abundance. Like, and that's one of the things that she wasn't in the beginning. She was like, why are you telling people what to do?
I mean, I was new to this, so I didn't know. I was like, people are gonna copy me. People are gonna like steal my ideas,
But no, and I'm the total opposite. I'm like, come on in, let's talk about it. We want to learn, Yeah. And I don't know, we're goal givers, and I feel like the more you give, the more you get back. If you do it out of your heart, you know. But yeah, that's how we've gone into where we're at right now.
That's amazing. This story is so inspiring. I love it.
Thank you.
I love, like you said, you are giving back in a way of providing these like walkthroughs, and like you said, that is the perfect time. Yeah. And I always tell people like, whoever you want to be around, find out where they hang out at.
Yeah. Right.
Find out what they're doing.
And that's true, because that's one of the things that I've always heard: hang out with who you want to be with, or how people. You always want to be the dumbest one in the room, And that's always been my biggest struggle, because everywhere we go is like, that's why I'm always a go-giver, because I would go and I would always be the one who made the most deals in real estate, or the ones who flipped the most, So I'm kind of learning how to like learn from other people, because it's very true. You want to surround yourself with those who have the same positive energy as you, who want to grow, who aspire to grow, and just have big goals, because it's hard to find people like that, to be honest. I mean, half the people are victims here through COVID. It's crazy I never watched the news, by the way, never. I don't even have a TV.
We have a friend, actually, well, he became our friend. He's a homeless guy. We met him a couple of months ago, and we like gave him like a bunch of food and money and stuff. And like he had just became homeless, and we're like, dude, like what's going on and stuff. He's like, oh no, it's gonna be like a couple of weeks and stuff. You know what? Just cut that out. I totally forgot my train of thought. Literally.
Yeah, that was so random. I know. Cut that off, please. I have no idea.
Cut that one out?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what she was going through that.
No, I had something to say about it. I lost my train.
That's so funny. Yeah, it's so random. I'm like,
I can see her face. It's like, where are we going with this?
I even forgot what we're talking about.
It was so random, but I forgot.
We can cut it to, we'll cut it to right here. But yeah, like you mentioned, you have all these walkthroughs that you do. How can people get in touch with you? How can people follow your journey? The journey has been amazing. I'm just now feel like being a part of it and getting to witness it. And I appreciate you too for speaking. You guys are going to speak at the upcoming Growth House Real Estate Night.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for inviting us over.
Absolutely.
That's really cool.
I'm excited. So where can people follow you guys?
Social media.
Yeah, so we're very active on Instagram. It's kind of like our main thing right now. So Janet_AZ Living, it's mine. And then
GABBBAY_.
Gabby.
Gabby underscore?
Gabby.
We'll link it in the notes, so they'll be easier to find.
But yeah, and then our walkthroughs, we just started having the walkthroughs because people would reach out to us all the time. Yeah. We're like, well, why don't you come, let's do a walkthrough, guys, and then we'll kind of show.
And they've been great. Like, we get a lot of like people attend, and they actually come with like so many questions, and we literally answer everything.
And I love that. I love answering questions. You ask me something, I will let you know, And the fact that you're actually going, you take a notebook, like it means a lot about a person,
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, we just started having them like a month ago. This is our third one, and we're gonna have them in every project that we have. So in this one is a project that we're just gonna close. It's finally gonna be done. We're gonna get ready to list it. And we talk about how we got the property, who funds it, how we fund it, how, an exit strategy, like what are we going to do with it? Can we keep it as an Airbnb?
Total cost of it.
Like everything. Yeah, and then people just get to watch. And then on this one, since it's towards the end, we just put like before and after pictures so people can kind of have an idea of our work. So it's really cool.
And this is free. You guys just open this up to you.
Yeah, we actually have one this Thursday.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
that one was such a big project. It was not what we expected. We bought the house sight unseen. Gave him 30-day post-possession, and then once we walked the property, I was like, what the hell is this? It was not what I expected. It was like, my renovations went from like 40K to like 100, over 100K.
Wow.
But numbers make really good sense though.
They make sense.
Yeah, still worked out.
Yeah, my numbers are always conservative when I buy a house. And then again, if like she's thinking of keeping it now, it's a great Airbnb. It's a 4-2 with a pool in Central Phoenix. Oh, that's like by 85018. So like Indian School in 36th Street. So we're like, well, maybe we should keep it. I don't know, but yeah, we give all this information on the fix and flip walkthroughs that we have. The more projects we get, the more we start doing them. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, that's
perfect. I think that's the perfect way to end it. If you want to, work with someone or you want to be a part of a walkthrough with a 7-figure business and you like their journey, definitely I'll put their Instagram on the show notes and I'll follow you guys on there.
Sounds good.